Welcome to Vancouver Carpenter. Today I'm going to show you guys how to join two corner beads in a long run and have it not look like garbage. Alright, so first off I should probably climb up the ladder and show you what I'm doing here. Okay, so yeah, I got a couple 10-foot beads here and I have climbed up here for no reason because I have no mud. Let's get some mud. Man, I've had too much coffee, so I'm full of energy, but not brain. All right, so I like to install corner beads with a 4-inch knife, and hopefully this mud's not too thick. Should be okay. I don't mind installing corner beads with mud slightly on the thicker side. It's less messy. That should be plenty. Okay, I should make sure that my filmer has something to jump up here with, if and when he needs to. Adriano is filming, by the way. You guys can check out his channel. I will link it somewhere, hopefully in, you know, the top of the thing. See, I told you I've had too much coffee. Listen to me. Hopefully I haven't had so much I can't explain what to do here. All right, corner beads. So first, obviously, start the time lapse. Do we have the time lapse going over there? All right, carrying on. Yeah, let's get this first bead going here. So we're just gonna start spreading the mud like icing a cake. Yeah, this stuff's thick, but it's really easy to control when you have it this thick. And I'm putting it on 1/8 of an inch to 1/4 inch thick, roughly. And we're going 10 feet. Don't know where that is exactly, so we'll just go a little bit past. This is probably far enough. So I like to use the side swipe method when putting mud on for beads. And I always kind of go back over it once like that to make sure that it's evenly spread, not like lumpy here and not enough there. Kind of a big gap there. We got the bevel of the board on both sides here, so this corner bead's gonna not build out too much. That's cool. If you don't know what I mean the factory edge of the board that dives in is on both sides of this. So yeah, it's gonna be a small build out. Not like the usual roughly 1/8 of most corner beads. I'm sure it's hard to see, but you get the idea. I'm putting mud on. Okay, I'm actually gonna jump down and grab more mud. Okay, first bead. Let's put it on. Yeah, good estimate. Only went over by about 1.5 feet. Okay, so I'm just kind of fiddling with it, getting it on square. So I don't think this thing is straight, which is gonna make it maybe a little more annoying, but I'm not gonna, this is a garage, you guys. I'm not gonna be putting a laser on this. I'm not gonna be using a line. We are just going to install this bead with the framing to a degree and make sure. So what I'm doing right now is I'm embedding it. You can see the mud's kind of squishing out right there as I run my hands across. So that's helping to deal with some of the inconsistencies. So right now I am going to roughly wipe it out. So watch. We'll start up here. So I actually haven't wiped out all the mud. So this bead can still move, but it's roughly wiped out. Whoa, it needs to go way up there. And the reason is I want to be able to adjust this. And if I wipe it out firmly right now, I'm gonna be left with no ability to adjust this bead. And you'll see why that's important in a minute here. So let's carry on here. Big blob on my hand. Yuck. You'd think I'd be used to that, but I still don't like it. There's a big gap here that the mud can get in and then it drips down. But let's carry on here. I actually should have, so I made one mistake here. I didn't get my other bead cut to length before I started mudding. So that's just gonna make it a little bit messier. I definitely should have gotten it cut to fit before I had all this mud on here. Oh well, live and learn. It's hard to do it all in the right order when I'm busy talking to you guys. So, try and get that nice and evenly spread. All right, so let's get our bead cut. So to do that, I'm just gonna place it right here. And I'm gonna eyeball this right here. So I'm gonna leave it about a couple mils short. So that wasn't too messy, that wasn't too bad. Where did I put that little nick? So I just put a little cut in the paper. Where in the heck was it? Can't find it anymore. I know I put it in here. Oh, it's right here. Got it, got it. So yeah, I just put a little cut in the paper right there. I don't know if you can see that or not. Anyways, that helps me then find it to make the cut. One thing you want to remember is the cut side of your corner bead. It's always going to lift this thing up a little bit, so I always bend it back down by hand. Now, let's get this in place. Is that going to look good for a thumbnail?
Yeah, that could look cool.
Okay, hopefully. That's kind of... All right. Sorry, guys, I got distracted. Yeah, I'm trying to choose my thumbnail and do this at the same time. All right, so now I'm doing that same thing where I'm kind of pushing the mud out of here. Yeah, I could tell looking at this framing that this thing kind of has a bit of a wow in it. And it's just not the right time and place to fuss with straightening out the corner bead. I don't always like straightening out the framing with my corner beads. It's been known to happen if you've watched my mud framing videos, but we're not doing that today. Okay, so now let's get right up close here. Can you, I'll wait till you come out like this. Okay, so the most important thing here is that you line these two beads up. That has to be lined up. So that's number one. I shouldn't have used the cut side. It's too late, it's on. I'm pushing them tight. Okay, good. So now they're touching, which is good. And now I'm going to roughly wipe this one out too. The same way I roughly wiped the other one out. So I'm not taking everything out. Now there are faster ways to do this, which is by rushing and putting it in poorly. But I like to take my time on something like this because you can really see that spot if you don't take your time. You can see the spot where they join. So now that we've wiped it out roughly, here's where I like to get something nice and straight, like a level. What will happen is, okay, good. So stand back a little. Okay, you guys, take a look at that. You can see that there's no light anywhere there. There's not a hump there, and there's not a big void. So that's what's important there. I'm giving the camera back. And then you want to check it this way too. So in this case, there is a whole bunch of light. Can you see that daylight shining through there?
Yeah.
So there's a couple of options here. We can either pull these beads out, push the center of them in, or just live with it. And it's about an 1/8 over 8 feet. So I might actually choose to live with most of it. But here's how we're gonna tweak it a little bit. So I'm pulling the bead out because it's not totally set. I have the liberty to pull these out just a little bit. And I can push this one in a little bit. Let's get a little bit more of that mud out, push it in. I'm gonna swap sides with you here. So again, on this one, I can push in a little bit. All right, now let's double check it again. Okay, now before I actually wipe it out, I'm going to double check. So that's better. Now it's only 1/16, which over almost 8 feet is totally fine. How about this way? It's about 1 millimeter, so I can live with that. You're not gonna be able to see, what is this? This is 6 foot? It's more than 6 feet. So over 6 feet, we only have about 1 millimeter of deflection. So that's gonna be really hard to see. And now I can actually wipe these out more firmly because I know that I have these beads where I want them. When I check like this, I have enough space, like the daylight. So if you've watched any of my videos on installing corner beads, you know you want to have some daylight between this flange right here. Anyways, that's another video. But let's get back to this one because I put this mud on so long ago that it would be smart to get it all wiped out now. Because it's definitely drying out here. And you always want to check to make sure you got some room to fill the bead. So we're looking good there. Okay, so we're looking pretty good. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, we're gonna keep going here. Get this all out before it's too stiff to use. So this is just all-purpose mud, by the way. But the drywall is pulling the moisture out of it as we speak. Okay, now there is one last thing I'm gonna do here. I'm gonna do one last little thing, but this mud's a little bit too stiff to do it, so gotta put some water in it. Just a quick little dunk. Just to help that glue get into tape a bit better. Okay, so I got a couple of pieces of tape in my pocket right here. So these are my insurance pieces because it's really common for this little bit to crack over time. You don't have to do this. You can just leave it. But it's, like I said, it's really common for that hairline to show up. So sometimes I like to put a little piece of mud, little piece of tape right there. And right there. So the tricky part about this is you have to make sure that it's about 1/8 of an inch to even 1/4 inch behind. Right there. Because if it's too close to the nose, you're not going to be able to hide it when you bury the bead in mud. Stop sliding around. So fussy. All right, so there we go. Clean that off. And that's it, right there. So those are lined up really nice. We checked it. We got a couple tapes that are gonna stop that from cracking down the road. And these are as straight as we could make them given the framing. So let's see how straight that was. Honestly, that's not that bad. And where I can see the problems is nowhere near where the joint was. So it's actually straighter where the joint is than the rest of the parts of the bead. And that's just the nature of going over lumpy framing. What are you gonna do? Anyways, thanks for watching Vancouver Carpenter. That's it, that's all I have to tell you. And actually, now that I'm down here, it's starting to look really good. And you know what? It's gonna look even better from my house. So I wanna say thanks for watching Vancouver Carpenter. I hope you got something out of this video. Till the next one, this one's done.